Hey y'all, what's up? Can everybody turn their cameras on for me? I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm so sorry. What's popping, y'all? What's up? How y'all feeling? If y'all could drop in a
I'm
comment
good.
section for me, how y'all feeling? How you feeling, Naya?
I'm nervous.
You nervous? How you feeling? How you
I'm
feeling?
nervous.
Got people in the chat. Yeah.
You feeling good?
Of course, of course. First time being back from within the last year. How it's feel good to be here with everybody. Like we got the mini sessions. I'm telling y'all, this session will be fire. I'm telling you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. How you feeling, Charles? Big 16. What's up?
I'm cool. I'm cool. Feel me?
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, guys, my name is Amar. If you guys don't know, I am a Heartbeat, and today, and I tell us what we're talking about today.
So today our discussion is going to be about double standards.
Ooh.
I know that's one. So the reason I really was happy to speak about this topic is because I feel as though society, um, when we hear about toxic relationships or abusive relationship, we necessarily, not everybody, but some people necessarily think about, is the woman okay in a relationship? What did he do to her? But nobody really thinks about the male being the male being abused in a relationship, or and abuse could be verbal and physical. It doesn't always have to be physical. Um, Also, this discussion kind of like had a spark in me because a close relative of mine, he was in this kind of situation too. Um, Basically, at the start of their relationship, everybody was fond of his ex girlfriend, and nobody really thought anything was going on. So he had a son with her, and a couple months after the son was born, we learned that they broke up, and everybody was like, "Why did they break up?" And in my opinion, I was like, their relationship didn't look necessarily perfect, but you wouldn't have suspect that anything was going on. So um, a couple months after that, he came to me and he said that she wasn't being a really nice person to him, and that she was saying out of pocket things that were not supposed to be said about him, or said about his child, basically hinting that he wasn't the father of his son, which was not the case. So, but what also like took me back was when he said, "Don't let my battles interfere with your relationship with her." And in my head, I was like, obviously, my relationship is gonna start not being good with her if she's treating you like this. And me and how do I say, me and his ex girlfriend, the mother of his son, we were close because she was basically like a big sister to me. How she would treat me like I was her little sister. So our relationship did have a dent in it, but I'm not the type of person to he told me not to worry about it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So a couple months after that, his son came over our house, and she basically called me crying, saying that what she say? She basically called me crying, saying that my relative took the baby away from her, and that was not the case either, too, because he already told us what was going on. So then that's when me and my mother, because the baby was over our house, we contacted my close relative and said, "What's going on?" And he was angry because it's like she started telling us things about him that we know it wasn't true. And then that's when everything started to unbuckle. And she was saying stuff to him. She was basically being verbally abusive to him, but he wasn't telling anybody about it. And the reason I this is my opinion. The reason I think that he wasn't telling nobody about it was because he thought, since I'm a man, I have to be strong and I have to be independent. So that means I shouldn't bring nobody into my problems and that I need to face this alone. But after everything was unbuckling, he then realized that he has a huge supportive system and that we're there for him, that it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry, that we're here for you. And he then told me that I never realized that I had a big supportive system with me, and that since I learned over the years that I need to do everything by myself because I'm supposed to be this big shot man. So that's why this conversation, this topic discussion is very important to me, because I just want people to realize that the woman in the relationship is not always the victim in the relationship, and that instead of how can I say, when something comes out about a toxic relationship, an abusive relationship, we shouldn't always jump the gun and say the man did this. We should learn both facts, and then yeah.
Naeem and Charles, do y'all want to elaborate on that?
I would go with the double. Um, I can relate. Especially in the part where people saying, oh, men have to be tough or women have to be this, stuff like that. I want to elaborate on gender roles as well, because with as personal agency as well, it's like people be thinking that females always have to cook and clean and always gotta do the dirty work. But that's not really that purpose of being themselves. That's not who they really are. They more than cleaning it and cooking. And I feel like us men should do it as well, because they didn't have to do it at the time out of that day. So I feel like from a male perspective, I feel like we should always, you know, to be respectful how we do these things and never have to entitle anyone.
I would like to agree with Naeem saying. Charles, did you want to add on before I went? Did you wanted to say something? No?
You can go.
Okay. I just wanted to say like one thing like that everybody thinks, like which is a big double standard for me, that like girls can cry and it's okay, but when a male cries, it's just such a big deal. Or you have to toughen up while you crying. But I just like I want y'all like to put in the chat or like the group. Like, have y'all ever felt a time where y'all been in a situation where I feel as though it was like a double standard situation was and explain why? Because I want to read the comments and like get y'all like opinion on this, because I feel as though it's a really big issue that goes on that a lot of young people don't really elaborate on, or adults either. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Charles, can you go ahead and elaborate for me?
I'm trying to think of something to say, but I can't really think of any experiences where I went through the same thing. I never really had somebody say it's not okay to cry, or women should be washing dishes or something. So I wash dishes all the time. If I put something in the sink, I wash it out. Um, I never really had that experience with double standards or like that. Or that's something not that I can think of.
So what's your opinion of it though? Like what you think should be changed about it? So what's your opinion?
I mean, I think that is not right. I feel like everybody has their fair share of things that they should be doing. Like not just females should be washing dishes or cleaning or cooking. Because as men that be cooking, like Gordon Ramsay, he a famous chef. So yeah, I feel like everybody got their fair share of things. Like the male shouldn't just be paying the bills. I feel like it should be like 50-50, because they both live there. So yeah, I feel like everybody got their fair share of stuff.
And I definitely agree. I just want to touch on the fact that, especially when and I feel like that from coming from a black male perspective, you always have the type of female saying, oh, like say example, like us men, we asking them, oh, what you gonna bring to the table? And then you say, I am the table. And they be like, huh? You the table. What you mean you the table? So they be thinking, oh, we gonna want them from something that looks. Nah, that with I think like from like my perspective, I feel like if we want something from females or things of that nature, I feel like oh we just don't really even want what of like your looks or materialistic. We just want something that we could like love or basically like a good relationship to the point where oh we gonna have a good bond if that makes sense.
I do have something to say about like the 50-50 rule because I feel as though we need to touch on that. I know Naeem really wanted to touch on the subject because he said that he has a lot to say about the subject. But what I have to say is that I feel as though let's talk about like going out. People always say the man is supposed to bring the flowers, he's supposed to pay for the dinner, and he's supposed to be basically doing everything. But nowadays it should be like the female should pay for the dinner once in a while. The female should bring him chocolate, candy, any type of stuff. It shouldn't always be on one person.
Now I agree with that, and I feel as though it shouldn't just be one person that's doing all one thing, or it shouldn't be a side. Oh, women have this is what women have to do in society, or this is what men have to do in society. It shouldn't really be, like you said, double standards that we have to live up to as women in society. And I feel as though the main reason for going on today is not really to talk about the women's side. Yes, we get double standard all the time, but it's more about the male side because they don't get acknowledged enough. They don't feel as though they get that treatment. And as a woman, do you feel like example? I remember a time where me and my cousin had a discussion, and she told me that when you're walking around, you shouldn't be wearing shorts. But our other male, like my brother can walk around with a topless shirt and it's okay, and other guests can be around. And I just feel as though like that just bothers me a little bit because I'm like, dang, I'm not dressing appropriately. I'm just wearing some shorts and a shirt. Why do I have to change my outfit for some men? They shouldn't be looking at me anyways. So why do I have to change that for someone else? They have that dirty mind. So I don't understand it. But yeah, I just feel as though it should be crazy stuff like that I had to go through like growing up. You have to do this, or why you ain't cleaning the dishes. And now it's like I'm starting to like not have much as double standards anymore. Like I wash the dishes. They say men's supposed to take out the trash. I take out the trash. That's a big thing. Everybody want men to take out the trash, but I take out the trash now. My cousin don't have to do that no more.
There was one comment in the chat. Tay Ban, she said, so when it's two females on a date, do you think the masculine female should always pay for the bill? That goes back to what I said. Y'all should either split it, or once one person pays this date, the next person, if there is a next date, the next person should pay for that date. It shouldn't always be on the one person. It shouldn't matter what gender, how your sexual orientation. It should not matter.
Yeah.
It should be you can either split the bill, pay for yourself, they pay for themselves, or one day they pay for themselves. I mean, one day they pay for you, and the next day you pay for them. And also, Jamal said, what do y'all think about double standards in the workplace?
I could go double standards in the workplace. When you work, I feel like I think y'all should know what this is: superior and inferior. I feel like it's like if we have these males, right, like they work, but they get paid. I feel like we have those, especially at sports. Like I feel like because when it been happening recently, what we've been hearing, men getting paid more than women because based on that gender or how superior that is or relevant who they are. Right? I feel like it should be like stopped then and there because if us men get paid a lot amount, I feel like our women should get paid around the same as well because it's like when people done that doing that, they feel like, oh yeah, cause they men, they feel like, oh yeah, they gonna be better than the women, and I feel like it shouldn't be like that. I feel like it should be equality regardless.
I'm sorry, I'm about to go back to the dinner thing. Taven said, personally, I know anytime I'm on a date taking a girl out is not in me to let her pick up the bill. With that, I feel as though you should suggest be like, do you want to pay the bill? Because I could pay the bill, but I'm saying like, do you want to? Because she might think that you might think that. I'm sorry. She might think that you might think that she doesn't have no money, that she can't do it on her own, that she's not independent. So you should always, I'm sorry, that you should always suggest if like, do you want to pay or I could pay? Don't always think that you should be the only one paying. And I know that it's not in you. Like some people just think that they need to pay the bill, but sometimes, like I just said, just suggest that, hey, I could pay the bill, or do you want to? It doesn't matter to me.
No, I agree on that as well. Like I said, going back to what I was saying, Tay Bands, I would just suggest like you should be like y'all should alternate. It should be like, oh, I pay half, you pay half. It should not be like, oh, you always have to pay. You always have to pay this. You always have to pay that. Because that's a lot of like society today. Like I've seen that. Like they always think the male should have to pay for everything when they go on a date every time. But honestly, I feel as though if you feel like paying that day, why not just pay the day? Like why does it have to be a big issue? Also, I wanted to just put a comment. Maya said it's crazy how families be so against LGBT but can't protect pedophiles, but can protect pedophiles. Oh my God, I feel as though that is so true, Maya. But I want to give like my other peers opportunity to speak on that as well.
I agree with that. And I haven't really had like the type of family that does that. But like I could think about famous people and how some of their supporters, even though all the evidence came out that they're a pedo, the supporters is still supporting them and still defending them. I feel as though that's kind of wrong and that we need to break out that habit. If they're admitted that they did something, you need to open up your eyes and say what they did is wrong and that they need to stop that because that's not a discussion that you should be like thinking like, should I still support them or should I not? What was the other part she said?
While you sister for comment, I was going to elaborate on it too. Yes, I definitely agree with you, Maya. Especially we have some of these females and men as well that's big on the justification, or you can say justifying. It's like it happens so many times that I know some people that just be justifying the things that like how you can justify the wrong things, right? Like thinking every this is okay, but if we do it or it's not okay, especially that's being a hypocrite as well. So I definitely agree. Like I don't. It's like society is today is very corrupted. It's very corrupted.
Touching on what Naeem said, I feel as though the reason it's kind of corrupted is because um, the Gen Z, yeah, that's us, and the older generation, they're trying to put their opinions into our generation, and then we're trying to fight back. So it's like a whole big mashup coming together. So I feel as though that's why our generation is kind of corrupted because, as Maya is saying that talking about the LGBTQ and how some families are against it. That's mainly older generations. Some of our generation, but I'm saying like mostly older generations, they're against it is because that's how they were raised. And not saying accepting a pedo is okay. I'm just saying that they were raised up like they were raised and they're around people who thought being gay was bad and is or being like trans is not okay. So that's why their beliefs are stronger than being friends with a pedo and stuff like that.
Like people grow up thinking that the music they listen to is so good. When you got people like NBA YoungBoy, and that they need to break out of that because they just locked in this box that they think like this music is good talking about some Biggie Smalls or Tupac, but in reality, there's going to be nobody that ever touch YoungBoy, and I think that they be closed-minded. They be so closed-minded, and they just need to get out of that box.
Charles, why are you talking about NBA YoungBoy?
Well, I understand where he's coming from, but you could have used any other rapper than him.
Right.
See, look, even the Gen Z people be they just be hating because it's a trend to hate on YoungBoy. Like people need to stop following trends too, trying to ride the waves, because it's bad. It's bad.
Don't say your life may be over.
It's supposed to be a place where leaders develop, but all I see is people following trends of hating YoungBoy. So
okay, but let's bring that back. I understand about riding the wave, and that goes back to how the older generation was brought up, and how they're trying to have us ride their wave when we're trying to ride our own wave. And so bringing it back to double standards, I have 3 quotes that I'm going to read. And before I read them, I would like to say that you can have your opinion about the quotes. You do not have to agree with anybody. This is a space where your opinion matters. If you do not agree with anybody else's opinions, don't say, well, I don't agree. Start with your own opinion, because everybody's opinion matters in this space. So the first quote is, when a man hits a woman, it's considered an act of abuse. But when a woman hits a man, it's considered an acceptable display of anger. So also in the chat, y'all could state your opinions too. So how do y'all feel about this quote?
Let's give them like 2 minutes to reply. And in the meantime, Charles, Miss Joni over here talking about you. Like, yo.
Miss Joni trying to cut us off. Miss Joni
trying to cut the end because you broke up NBA YoungBoy.
Y'all can't be mad at me for speaking facts.
Miss Joni, get him out of here.
Oh yeah, I feel like well, while everybody thinking, well, I'm gonna give an example of this, in my opinion. But when I hear this quote, I'm thinking about the word is like like justifying, or oh yeah, that's okay. Oh yeah, since you hit him, yeah, that's okay, because you know they do it all the time too. I feel like I feel like in my opinion, when people when you it's like all right, hold on, let me put this in perspective. When people say, oh, when a woman hits a man, it's considered an acceptable display of anger. There's no lies of that, and like I said, people always want to justify the wrongs, and it makes it worse. And within the future and stuff like that, that's why we don't even always have people coming together as one, especially in Baltimore, for real.
Amara, what do you think about the quote?
Man, I'm still over here still thinking. Like, I'm still over here thinking. There's a lot to say about that. Yeah, I am literally still thinking about getting all my thoughts together about the quote. Can you come back to me? Charles, do you have something to say about it?
Which one were you on? I was saying share your screen because I was trying to read it so I can give you like an accurate answer. But were you talking about the
Yeah, I'm about to see my screen right now.
All right.
So I'm gonna say again, when a man hits a woman, it's considered an act of abuse. But when a woman hits a man, it's considered an acceptable display of anger. Also, guys, in the chat, you can state your opinion.
I mean, I feel like nobody should be hitting nobody, but I feel like a man really shouldn't be hitting a woman. Like men are like way bigger and stronger than, well, I'm not gonna say like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like they bigger, and they you shouldn't be hitting a woman. Like I don't know, that's not right. But women shouldn't be hitting men either, because then if say they hitting a man and then a man gets mad and then he hit him back, and then the dude gonna be looked at like, oh, you hit her and stuff, but then they like, oh, but she was hitting me first, so it's like, yeah.
That's what I was saying, cause it's like, it's really a, it's like it's a, that's what one of the biggest problems today is like, oh, since you'll hit me, I'm gonna do this, or this and that and that. It's like everybody is influenced by like violence. Now I would say everybody, and I agree with you on that, Charles. When we, especially when men, I feel like men should be the bigger person in the day because you don't never what they could, you don't know what they got going on in life. It's probably they ain't intentionally probably the door to you and stuff like that. So I feel like we should look at it on both on perspectives instead of trying to go to attack or apply pressure.
That's what I said. Oh, I just wanted to speak on it. I feel as though I feel as though a lot. I think that when it comes to dealing with, abuse, like when a man hits a woman or a woman hits a man, they look up more to like the man as a protector. Like, why are you hitting, why are you hitting the female? If she hits you, you shouldn't hit her. You need to just be the man and take the hits. But I feel like at the end of the day, if someone hits you, you have the right to, hit them back. And I feel as though it shouldn't be like, oh, gender wise, oh, she heavy handed. Yeah, I get it. But female punches be hurting too at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't understand that because they see it as he's masculine, he's stronger, you can take it. Those little hits ain't nothing. But that's not true. Like, it's still abuse. But I also usually in a situation when a male and a female is fighting, the male always get like in trouble, like, or especially if they somebody called police, they always consider the male, you're wrong. Well, you shouldn't have hit her. Why did you hit her back? Or like especially parents. When a boy hits like the kids be play fighting and the girl hits the little boy first and then the boy hits the little girl back, they be like, oh, why you hit her? Da, 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 you shouldn't hit her. I don't care. That's a girl. I be like, you know what he's supposed to do. She should have got my hands to herself. So yeah.
So I'm gonna say what I think, and then I'm gonna read the 2 comments. So I feel as though we need to normalize to stop hitting. Doesn't matter what gender you are. We need to, if you're in a relationship and you feel as though you're about to hit your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you need to communicate. Say, I feel like I'm about to hit you. It should be, there's no excuse for hitting anybody. That's when I was little, they said there's no excuse for hitting anybody. It doesn't matter what they did to you, there's no excuse for you to put your hands on somebody. And back to when a woman hits a man is considered acceptable display of anger. I feel as though some people, not everybody, but some people do, like what Amara was saying, like they should take it because they have little punches. It doesn't matter because the way you hit, your punch might be stronger than a male's punch. And that would still hurt him. But when he hits you back, you want to act all shocked. Stop hitting. Tay-Ban said, a woman shouldn't be hitting a man if you don't want the man to hit you back. I fully agree with that. Like, don't be shocked when he soccer punch you in your face because you punched him. So do what you do unto others. Something like that. I forgot what it's saying. It's really something like that. And then Maya said, I think there's a thin line between the two. Like, I can't admit I've done it, but I do see it as not bad, no matter how angry I get. If that person is not endangering me, I have no right to put my hands on them. And I fully agree with that too. And like I said, voice your opinion, voice that you're about to hit them. And if you're too angry, take a step back. The next quote is, a woman crying is natural, a man crying is weak. So, how do you feel about this?
Oh yeah, I got to go in on it.
Also put it in the chat.
Elaborate, not evaporate. I'm so sorry.
Oh Lord, y'all be using that evaporate too much. It's
because you missed something. You slept through something, so that's why. I be tripped up from the 2 words.
Mikey see what Mikey do. That's up. You see?
Nah. Mr. Evaporate, go ahead.
I'm gonna get straight into it. what I feel like I feel like first of all, uh us males, the first thing we do coming out of mother womb is cry. And I feel like it shouldn't be weak. Let's get that straight. And crying is natural both of within both of us. When we cry, we shouldn't feel ashamed or feel inferior or we shouldn't feel below. When we cry, that's a tool for us to express how we feel and get it out. Because if you keep it within your in the inside forever, you're not. It's not going to improve within anything you want or you wanted to do, regardless. And I just want to like really touch on like when people be saying, "Oh, you gotta act tough," or "You gotta do this and that and that," or people be telling you, "You gotta pick up a gun to be a man."
Uh, I wanted to just say one thing about this. Like, I feel as though let's just take out the gender out of the equation because everybody like they go by gender. Like we're all human. We are expected to feel. We are expected to feel emotion. Crying is a form of emotion, and it's like people try to say, "Oh, only women can cry." But men can't, or if you do cry, it's weak. But at the end of the day, I don't people don't understand that we're all human. I don't know why they think men are mechanical machines, robots, because they're not. They are humans. They act just like us. They breathe and think. I don't know why they just get this persona of they have to be so strong all the time. But I feel as though, I mean, that makes a man more stronger when they cry because you are expressing those emotions. You're really getting through it. And that shows a sign of not weakness, but strength and growth. And a lot of people don't understand that. And they see that because of the gender thing. It's a gender thing. They don't see that, oh, this person is human. They just see the gender and go with it. And I don't know why do people do that. And maybe the people in the comments can figure that out. Like, why do people think that way? Like that men are mechanical machines, that they just can't. They gotta be the strong man all the time, and forget that they are human at the end of the day. Like, can y'all drop your opinion in the comment sections about that too? Because
I like to touch on Maya because that's exactly what I was thinking. She said men are always raised to be strong. That's why men think that they have to be strong and show no emotions. I I was just thinking that in my opinion, I feel as though being strong and being taught not to show that much emotion has been taught on for generations. And but I'm gonna say this: some households they don't teach you that; they teach you to show emotions. Some households they told you not to show emotions. So yeah, and I feel as though that when you're saying a man shouldn't cry, then what do you want them to be, emotionless soldiers? Because then you're gonna be like, why isn't he showing emotions? He should be showing emotions. Like, why is he not getting? Why is he not crying? Why? Like, you're gonna be complaining in each way. Also, there was a not an incident, but something I want to share was this close relative of mine. His son was crying, and he said, "Stop crying. You're acting like a girl. Stop crying. You're not supposed to be crying. You're like." He was just like saying that. I'm like, and to myself, I was thinking, why are we still teaching this? Like, didn't this die a long time ago? Like, why are we still normalizing men crying is acting like a girl? Men crying is weak. Like, this shouldn't be something that we are still normalizing in 2020. So, Charles, you have anything to say?
I mean, y'all kind of hit everything, so I don't really have much to say about it because y'all kind of hit everything. It's I don't know. I feel like people shouldn't be saying like that's weak or something because everybody does it. Like somebody say, "Ew, you farted." Like everybody fart. Like that's probably a bad example, but you know what I mean. Like everybody do it. So
this is like you saying, like we all humans. Like everybody do the same thing, basically.
Right.
Yeah, cause I be like thinking like it'd be crazy. Cause I be like, oh, this man, why men do this? I'm like, yo, they human too. We do the same thing. Like they sleep how we sleep. They breathe how we breathe. Like it'd be crazy stuff like that. Like, don't y'all agree? Like,
Yeah, especially it's like how Maya was saying, like, the reason why or men is raised that they raised and stuff like this, they never learn. And I could definitely relate because it's especially if it is. Do you know fathers be trying to fight their sons just to tough them up, to beat them, or that the mothers do the same thing, just to
Fathers
tell
trying
them,
to fight
man,
their son.
and stuff like that. So like they be doing that, like as they be using it as a tool to feel like, oh, if I keep beating my son, him with the belt with my hands, he gonna be better. Yeah, he ain't gotta cry no more. But that's really trauma as well.
What Maya said also, because men are raised that way, they never learn how to get through emotions and how to cope. For example, you never see women punching walls when they get angry. When they get angry, not at least as much guys do. So, Charles and I, how you feel about that? Like, don't say you disagree, but just like elaborate if you want.
What up? Say it again.
Maya in the chat, she said, because men are raised that way, they never learn how to get through emotions and how to cope. For example, you never see a woman punching walls when they're getting angry, at least not as much as guys do. So, like, do you want to elaborate on that?
I mean, I wouldn't say all men are like that. I mean, you wouldn't. I ain't gonna say. I ain't gonna say that because I know I was playing. I didn't broke my whole dresser playing 2K, so I'm not gonna say that. So yeah, I mean that's kind of true because I punched a hole in my closet door too, but that's nobody's business though.
So, like, where did you not learn how to do that? Like, where did you learn to punch things was another way to get your anger out?
I don't know. I just did it.
I I was about I can elaborate from my experience. Like I how I got see, when I was younger, I wasn't really taught how to get through my emotions or how to express myself. Like if I get angry, I always would take it out on somebody. Like I can't like it don't matter who it is, I gotta take it out on somebody. But when I made it to eighth grade, like I was I had a black therapist, and she was telling me what to do when you said what to do when you get angry, stuff like that. My mom was teaching me how to get better with your coping skills, because if you know me personally, I got a very, very, very short temper. So if somebody said something off the wall, I could get mad any second. It's like a ticking bomb, to be honest.
Okay. So this is the last um, quote. And this one, I wouldn't say it's kind of deep, but it's like, this makes you think, if you know what I mean. So it says, notice how girls mature faster is never stated as a reason why girls should be given more positions of power and authority. It only works to hold girls to greater accountability than boys and to justify men's attraction to them. So how do you feel about this quote? Remember, your point, your opinions matter in this. And yeah.
Well, I got a question for you tonight. Like, do you have an example on this? Like how cause like I wanted like I was about to say, like, do you have an example on this before?
So I kind of like went through this, but I didn't really go through it like how this quote is stating. I went like how they think it is. Um, I was more of a tomboy, and like I was more of play fighting with boys and more like hanging out with boys and like, yeah, just always playing around. And older women in my family always tell me, Anai, when are you going to mature? Anai, when are you gonna act ladylike? Like that's not ladylike. Why don't you act more like your cousin who doesn't do that? So that put into my head that I need to stop acting like this and I need to grow up faster and mature faster. And I feel as though this quote was like saying girls mature faster is never stated as a reason why girls should be given more position of authority and power. I think that's basically saying like some people don't give not saying this is still how it is, but like an example is like a man, there's a man and woman, they're fighting to become a manager and the role is handing to a male. And this quote is saying like, but girls mature faster. So shouldn't the girl be the manager instead of the male since she's maturing faster? And since, yeah, basically that. And only works to hold girls to a greater accountability than boys. So like, as I said before, that they never told my male cousins to mature faster. They only told me to act ladylike and that I'm supposed to be more mature than them. So they never told my male cousins that. So, and also it says, and to justify men's attraction to them, that's basically saying that we need to not prepare ourselves for a relationship, but basically like act more ladylike to appeal more to boys and like men's attraction.
Oh yeah, I want to touch on that real fast on the mature part. I definitely agree because it's like, oh, since because I went through this a lot, it's like it's crazy because you know I made mistakes in the past. If I really wanted to do this, but somehow, they be thinking, oh, you made a mistake. So I'm gonna let this girl get the opportunity before you do because you did such and such. But at the same time, what if that girl made the same mistake I did? Think about that, right? And attraction, I feel like, in my opinion, one female shouldn't. I would female shouldn't always to try to, you know, to see if they could be appealing so much that it could get that man's attention. I feel like it shouldn't even be that hard to get a man's attention at all times. I feel like it just be should be plain and simple because same thing with men. You know how it be like, oh yeah, like oh when people be trying to give men free game, all you gotta do is just say this, it's such and such. They just telling them to act immature, to act ghetto. They want you to use these vulgarism words and stuff like that, like only go for the looks, things of that nature. It's like people really got their picks. It's like picking the flavor of your own chicken for real. I know this sounds silly, but it's facts. So I definitely agree.
One thing that just came to my mind is justifying men's attraction to them. One thing I really strongly dislike is how when when a female has to not say like they have to, of course they have to cover up, but when a male is around them, they have to dress appropriately, and that they have to wear they can't wear shorts around men, that they have to wear pants. They have to cover up themselves when a male's around. And in my opinion, it's like, why don't you teach men not to look at females like that? Why don't you teach them not to think about that type of certain things? So that's one thing I don't really really dislike is how women have to cover up when a man is around. And what I mean by cover up, I mean like if you're wearing a tank top, you have to put a hoodie over it. If you're wearing shorts, you have to put longer pants on. But the male, they get to walk around with shorts and no shirt. Like that's what I mean. And Maya said she would like to hear about what we think about how moms treat their daughter hard, like they have to clean, cook, basic stuff like that, but babying their sons. So how do y'all feel about that? That question?
speak on both of them actually, because I didn't get to speak on the first one. So I feel as though for the first one, a lot of people, it's a little story. It's really quick. So my cousin, I think she was not my cousin that lived with, but another cousin of mine, going to be a doctor, and she got a job in a position. All her friends went out one day, and they were just discussing, it was males and females, and they were discussing, the pay that they get. And she just telling me that she made like 90,000. This guy made like 100,000, and I'm just like, well, ain't y'all supposed to get the same amount? Y'all do the same exact job. Y'all do the same exact thing, treat the same amount of patients. And it's just be crazy because I'm like, why do you say these things like girls mature faster? And why is it not matching, what you're saying, the actions? The second thing about the baby, the parents babying their sons and their daughters, I feel as though that's
Mostly the moms, like
not,
she
I meant
meant like the
babies, not
moms.
the mom, the mom. I'm sorry, the moms treating their daughters harder, but the baby and the sons. I feel as though that's a big double standard because you always see all the time how the son can move back home, but with the daughter, it's like, oh, why you ain't find a job yet? Why can't you just do this? Why can't you do this? But if that's 30-year-old son want to come back home, all right, sure, son. I don't know what it is about you coming back, and it's okay for the son to come back. But when a daughter is trying to come back or a daughter is trying to do something this, it's like, oh no, you need to go to college, you need to do this, you need to do that. Why are you not saying that to my brother? So I feel as though it's not fair or it's not right, because then that child feels as though she don't feel like it's the
They
same.
don't matter.
Yeah,
That
it don't matter. They're not really like, why can I be baby? Why can I be, chilling and stuff with you and be at your house at 30 years old, but a man can. And Maya said, she said, I don't like how so many people raise their daughters to be dependent on men or someone else. That is so true. Like a lot of women today, like I've seen in society, like, oh, I want a man that's gonna buy me this, and that. I want this man to do this.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So that comes back to her question before: why are women, why boys like moms baby their sons but treat their daughters hard? And I feel as though that's why some women become more dependent on somebody else, because they never got that feeling of somebody baby or comforting them. So that's why I feel they're more, because they learned how to be independent, but they never got the dependent out of the way. So I feel as though that goes back to why they're so dependent on men. I'm not saying mostly men, but why they're so dependent on other people, like she said, men, because they weren't really raised to be babied. So they never outweighed their dependent. Charles, you wanted to say something? Because you kept going up.
Oh, I mean, I don't really got nothing to say now, y'all. I was trying to come off mute when Amara was talking, but that was yeah, I mean, I don't really got no experience with a mother baby and son and being something to the daughter, because maybe they just like the sons better. Like, you ever think of that? Like they just like the sons better?
I guess. But the G channel, he said, the parent is going to be more lenient to the opposite sex child because they have such control when a man gets older. He's going to look for a woman, which is why they always have that relationship. I kind of like, yeah, I agree. And
I want to go.
I would say we got like 2-3 minutes, so I will go wrap out so we can like give it to open questions, y'all. That's what I want to say.
Jules. We ain't got no Jules.
Yeah, we're gonna have juice too, but I wanted like to open up in like a few minutes because
so basically the open question, like the Q&A, is basically just like us replying to what y'all say in the chat. And the G channel also said daughters can come back and they have a special relationship with their father because that's the opposite sex parent. Also, what also I just don't understand is how when a boy is like when they call a boy a mommy's boy, they don't really like that sometimes. And y'all like how what can y'all say about that? Like, why do some men not like to be called a mommy's boy?
I feel like Naeem and Charles should speak on that.
Said why? You said why?
And also the G channel. That's a good question for you too. Like,
Yes.
why do you think some boys hate to be called a mommy's boy?
I got you. Um, it's many ways. One, because say this is a scenario. A male, you can name him Kevin, right? He got three of his friends from school. He could be around them, cooling and stuff like that. But at the same time, when his mother can't come around, he'll like, oh, come, nah, not, don't please, not right, not today, not today. When his mother come around, he like, come, hey, he like, oh, yeah, that's mama's boy over, yeah, yeah, what's up, such and such. But his friends gonna be laughing, stuff like that. Sometimes people gonna be thinking, oh, if they call a mama's boy, they feel like, oh, they weak. Not only they weak, oh, they feel like, oh, they ain't really nothing. They just a nobody. They just under that mother. And ain't nothing wrong with it being a mama's boy, because at the end of the day, that's the one who brought you to this world. That's the womb you came out of, and stuff like that. And the second thing is, to be honest with you, like people don't like they don't like being called a mama's boy because they feel like, oh, they being annoyed about it. It's like that's not, they don't like to be entitled.
So my question for you and Charles, how can you break the cycle of men thinking that, like I said, like what you just said, that being called a mommy's boy is weak, crying is weak, not sharing your feelings and only being independent is strong and stuff like that. Like how would y'all break the cycle to this? Like when you have children, like Charles, 12 children, because I know one of them is gonna have to be a boy. So how are you gonna teach them? How are you gonna break this cycle that is kind of reoccurring?
Charles, you want to go before I go?
Like, I mean, I don't really think there's a cycle that you can break. I feel like people gonna say whatever they're gonna say, and you gotta live with that. So I don't really think there's a cycle to break.
Not mean like it's a cycle. Like, what are you gonna teach your kid? Like, how are you gonna teach them to show their emotion? Like, not breaking a cycle, but just yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I would teach my kids. I'm only 16. I don't know what I would teach my kids.
I know.
So basically, all the things that you have been taught, how are you going to bring it to the next generation?
You know what? I got this.
Yes, please.
How with my son, like, say example, how to like have a good heart. You know, I would just tell him, it starts with yourself. You know, be yourself. Be what you know, not what you known for, but be yourself that you was brought here for, and stuff like that. And I would tell him like, you don't have to. You're not on this earth to please everybody. You're not on this earth to put a smile on everybody's face or bless everybody, because you're not always going to have those gifts unless God gave that to you. If He gave that to you, you more than special. Just remember that. And that's a little motivation right there.
So, Mari, this is a question to you. How are you going to teach girls to be independent, to not fall under the category of double standards?
I feel as though I would teach my daughter how to be, a boss, like how to, not depend on no man and how to really go out there and get on your own, because I feel as though no one's going to really love you in the streets, no one's going to really be there for you on your walks and your some of your hardest obstacles that you go through. So at a very young age, I'm going to teach her how to become her own independent self and, do things for herself that, some men don't need to do for you at the end of the day. And I stand on that.
I'm probably gonna teach both my son and daughter to feel, to always, like, I'm gonna be the person that they could always lean on and that they don't have to go about it by themselves. And then I'm gonna try to break the double standards in my family. If I do have children, I'm gonna try to break the double standards in my family. And I'm actually gonna start trying to do it in my, like, not my family, my other family too. So yeah.
Is there any last thoughts, Charles? And you wanna come back with a comeback now? You ready?
Yeah, I got some. So if I was to do that, because I wouldn't have any daughters, I would have all sons. Because daughters would be too
And
much.
that's not possible. With 12 children, you're most likely gonna have a daughter.
Yeah, you can't choose what you want to have, sir. That's not how.
You can choose.
So you saying that you might have sons? Why you gotta give you all daughters?
Right, and then you're going to deal with that, and then you're like, what you gonna do then?
I mean, it's a possibility based on traits, like the X, Y. Y'all ain't big on the biology stuff, but I am.
Evaporate. Listen.
Right.
No.
If you're having 12 kids, there's most likely that you're gonna have one daughter. You can't say all gonna be sons unless you adopt all sons.
I would say, in my opinion, you would actually have 4 daughters, because like I can't say 12 exactly 12, like 12 like boys, stuff like that, because my mother got 12 children, which means I got 7 brothers and I got 4 sisters. That's why I kind of said something like that.
Oh my God, Maya said something. She said, I think that she said also connect to the lack of a real father figure in homes.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Not G Channel asked for the link. We ready to be up.
Earlier.
Huh?
So you should have asked earlier.
Like, I know we was coming up a little dry at first, but we try to come back as best as possible. Dang.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to say real quick is that I feel that society needs to not normalize, but to think about. There's also some mothers who are not in the household too, and that mainly society thinks about the father leaving, and that is a deadbeat father, but nobody really talks about there's a deadbeat mother, because that happens a lot, and it's rarely frowned upon too. Because if the mother leaves, she needs to find herself. She's going through so much things. She needs to do this, she needs to do that. But when the father leaves, he a deadbeat.
Right.
So that's one thing that I feel as though society needs to realize, that not all fathers are deadbeats. Not all mothers are deadbeats, but there are some mothers that are deadbeats. So, is that it, guys? Anything y'all want to say? Oh, we're gonna start with Jules. I'm gonna go last.
Y'all want to go? Who want to go first with the jewels? I'll go last.
I said that first. I'm gonna go second last then.
Oh, sorry, Naya. I'm so sorry.
You go last.
I guess I'm going first. My jewel is it's going to be a little part 2 of this. When you by yourself, when you get in a crowd, don't act different. Always keep the same energy, whether you with a crowd or by yourself. Because when you act different, it shows how irrelevant you are.
Charles.
My jewel, would be Focus on yourself and don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something, because you can do whatever you put your mind to.
My jewel is not be your own person, but be your own person. Be your own provider. Just be your own person. Don't always think that there's somebody at the end of the tunnel waiting for you. So let's be your own person. That's my jewel.
I got a jewel and an announcement to make. My jewel. My first jewel, well, my one jewel that I have for everyone, I just want to say that learn to break generational curses. And it's okay, men, G Channel, y'all, Charles, Naeem, it's okay for y'all to cry. It's okay for y'all to let it out, because at the end of the day, you guys are all humans. And yeah. And Charles, we can announce it all together.
All right, so we was coming up with a thing because we see about let me see, about 10 people showed up, or 5, I think it was like 15 people showed up, and people left. So we Maya, we appreciate you for coming and being real active in the chat. So we were going to bless you, because when you bless, it's mandatory to bless everybody else. So we're going to bless you with $40.
Yes, you get $40 coming your way. So drop your cash app.
Thank you. Yeah, drop your cash app in the chat, and also thank you guys.
Miss Jonas getting 20. Hold on. You're getting 60. Oh, you're getting 60, Maya.
I was thinking about getting a gift card.
What would cash app?
I don't. My cash app be acting iffy. Like, that's why I was thinking about.
Wait, actually, did she have a cash app?
I'm ready to just go charge up my phone.
I was ready to do like a $50 gift card if that's cool with her.
Not all of us. We're so I guess we're making it. So I guess we're making a thing every time the active person.
Yeah, I was gonna say once a month we can do it. Like it could be like it ranges from like 5 to 40, I guess. So that's what we can do. It could be like a once a month thing that we do. Like the person is being the most active in the chat. Just follow whoever we feeling. If y'all want to give each of y'all want to give $1 that day, or y'all want to get $2 a day, or however y'all want to do it, we can do it. But it's gonna be once a month.
So yeah. So Maya, you are a lucky winner this month.
Yep.
And thank you for being active in the chat.
And thank you for really you really gave us a mind. And she said, "Oh, it's the most active." Yes, Tayman,
it's the most active.
Active person in the chat. So you got a chance to win. Like next month, April, bring it. Because you don't know how we may be feeling that day. It may be 5, 10, 20, 50. 40. You don't know.
So thank you everybody for showing up and watching our success session.
Yes. Bye.
Bye guys.
Have a nice night.